Hi, friends. My name is Don Gilliam, and today I got a new Strathmore mixed media sketchbook that I was wanting to work in. I really don't have a plan, so I'm just kind of winging it for today. I wanted to do some art journaling. I have a lot of vintage ephemera and just little bits here and there, and I was wanting to explore that today and work through that. So I just gessoed my pages, um, and also with some acrylic medium, and I'm just spreading that over. And I put palette paper behind my pages. I have a bad habit of those sticking together if I don't do it. I'm looking for my brown ink, and I'm dripping it on the pages, and I'm not sure if it's going to spread into the gesso, so I'm finding out that it didn't spread. I want to do like a coffee cup imprint, so I found this old lid that I'm rubbing the ink on. I'm messy. I'm using a General's charcoal pencil and doing some mark making. I'm folding over the pages one on top of the other to help spread the ink. Since it's not flowing and spreading like I want it to, I've got a paintbrush with some water on it to kind of make those coffee cup rings show up a little bit better. So I'm just flicking it around my page with the paintbrush. I'm just allowing myself to experiment today with no plan. I'm wiping up a bit with a rag because I'm getting impatient and I want to keep working, and it's not getting dry fast enough. Now I have this old used tea bag, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to put that on the page. So I'm just trying to figure that out. I have these old flashcards, math flashcards, and so I chose one of those. I also have this notebook that is just notes and things from the 1970s that I found. And so I think I want to use some of that. And I'm not sure how I was going to incorporate this, but this little address book has never been used. I was so happy when I found that. Maybe I'll make that into a junk journal or something. So I'm just looking and thinking of what I want to do, and Still thinking. And that's okay. Like I said, I didn't have a plan. I just was going with the flow. So I've got my Mod Podge and I couldn't get the lid off. And I tried another big jar that I have, but I had to have my husband open that one. And I know that I should probably have my Mod Podge and put that in a separate bowl, but I was getting it directly from the jar. I know I shouldn't do that, but I did. And I can't get it open because I make a mess and I shut the lid, and so then it's hard to get the lid back off. But when I'm in the flow and I'm thinking, I'm really not thinking about keeping things neat. I'm messy like that. And that's another thing. My brush fell down into the jar, and so I have to clean it off. I need to get a separate container, separate bowl to keep my Mod Podge in. And so I was looking at my pages and I saw the two brown marks and was imagining a face. So here you see me starting to sketch a face. So I finally decided on placement where my bag is going to go. I have the string coming down, so I didn't tape that down or glue that down. And I'm gonna glue down my flashcard. And so I'm going to use my palette paper again and cover over the glue, so if any glue gets on, that it doesn't stick. And I put a couple magazines down to weigh it down, and I left it overnight. And so now I'm taking some white gesso and just letting it go over the pages, kind of softening up the edges a bit with the gesso. I didn't want to completely cover all the ink, the brown ink, but like I said, I just wanted to soften it up a bit. And I put some, and I'm using a brush that is really rough, so I wanted some of that texture as well. Now I'm getting a brown paper bag and gonna cut that out because I have plans to do some painting. Excuse my palette. I know that I should be better about cleaning it. I'm messy. I know that I should clean better than I do. I'm proud of myself for cleaning up my brushes after my painting sessions, but as far as cleaning my palette, I know that I should do better. So on this scrap grocery bag, I'm starting to paint some moths. Now I'm starting the cup, and like I said, with the used tea bag that I found, and I started thinking about that poem that I did a few years ago about an empty cup. It all came from a quote, and I'll share that later in the video. But just feeling like how we need to, especially as caregivers, to fill up our cup, that we get so wrapped up in everyone else in our world, around us and all our loved ones, that sometimes it's hard to give when our cup hasn't been filled. So I let that dry, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out the cup and the moths. So the reason that I painted the cup and the moths on the grocery bag was because, like I said, I just wanted to play around. I really didn't have a plan. And so I wanted to, instead of painting directly onto the sketchbook pages, I wanted to play around with the placement of where everything was going to go. So now that I'm happy with how I wanted it, I'm starting to glue down my little motifs. And so I wanted the cup to be near the face with kind of like the moth spilling out. And so on that one notebook, the address book with the pages, I wrote that quote on there. And I didn't want it to be, perfect and fancy writing. I just wanted it to be kind of scratchy and imperfect writing. And so I'm just layering around. And again, I'm glad that I went ahead and painted on that grocery bag, because now I can layer on top of the other paper from where the quote is. I can, put the moths on top of the flashcard and just, play around with the placements. I went ahead and Mod Podged all over just to make sure I didn't have any edges sticking out, and then I let it sit overnight. And now I'm getting a, I don't know what you call those things, from the tea bag. I have this tea that I'm usually a coffee drinker, but a lot of times I'll drink some tea, and my favorite tea is called Paris. And so I'm using the little tag off of that. And then you'll see me getting an ink pad, a little ink pad, and just going around the edges. I messed up on my camera angle here. So sorry about that. Paint here that I'm going over the ink with. And so to make her eyes pop, I think I'm going to color those in with some blue paint as well and put a little color on her lips. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I used to do a lot of mixed media journaling. Lately I've been doing just a lot of painting, And I was wanting to know, do you guys enjoy this type of art journaling? Let me know in the comments.